Imagine a world where everything is free, no prices, no money, no cost. At first, this sounds amazing. Everyone would take whatever they want, but very quickly, stores would become empty, businesses would stop producing, and the economy would collapse. The reason is simple. Resources are limited, but human wants are unlimited. And this is where economics begins. Economics is not just a subject in school. Economics is the system that controls prices, salaries, jobs, businesses, banks, and even governments. Every time you buy something, every time you earn money, every time prices increase, every time the government announces a budget, economics is involved. So in this video, we are going to understand the entire economics from scratch in the simplest way possible. Let's start with the most important concept in economics. Scarcity. Scarcity means we don't have enough resources to produce everything everyone wants. Humans have unlimited wants. People want better phones, bigger houses, more clothes, more travel, more entertainment, more comfort, more everything. But the problem is that resources like time, money, land, labor, and raw materials are limited. Because resources are limited, we cannot produce everything for everyone. So we must choose. For example, if you have 100 rupees, you can either buy a book or eat at a restaurant. You cannot do both. So you must choose one. When you choose one thing and give up another, that cost is called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is one of the most important ideas in economics. It means the value of the next best alternative that you did not choose. Every decision in life has an opportunity cost. If you spend time watching movies, the opportunity cost might be studying or learning a skill. If a government spends money on defense, the opportunity cost might be education or healthcare. Now let's talk about demand. Demand means the quantity of a product that people are willing and able to buy at different prices. There is a very important rule in economics called the law of demand. The law of demand says that when price decreases, demand increases, and when price increases, demand decreases. For example, if a phone costs 1 lakh rupees, very few people will buy it. But if the same phone costs 20,000 rupees, many more people will buy it. So lower price increases demand, and higher price decreases demand. Now let's talk about supply. Supply means the quantity of a product that producers are willing to sell at different prices. The law of supply says that when price increases, supply increases, because higher price means higher profit for producers. So businesses produce more when prices are high, and less when prices are low. The price of a product is decided where demand and supply meet. This is called equilibrium price. If demand is higher than supply, prices increase. If supply is higher than demand, prices decrease. This is how most prices in the economy are determined. Not by government, not by companies, but by the market forces of demand and supply. Now let's talk about markets. There are different types of market structures in an economy. Perfect competition is a market where many sellers sell identical products, like vegetables or wheat. Monopoly is a market where only one seller controls the entire market. Oligopoly is a market where few big firms control the market, like telecom companies or airline companies. Monopolistic competition is a market where many firms sell similar but slightly different products, like restaurants, clothing brands, and mobile phones. The type of market decides how much power businesses have to set prices. Now let's understand how goods and services are produced. To produce anything in an economy, we need 4 factors of production. These are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. Land includes all natural resources like land, water, forests, and minerals. Labor includes human effort, both physical and mental work. Capital includes machines, tools, factories, buildings, and money used for production. Entrepreneur is the person who organizes land, labor, and capital and takes the risk of starting a business. Entrepreneur is very important because without entrepreneurs, businesses would not exist and production would not happen. Now let's talk about GDP. GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product. GDP is the total value of all final goods and services produced in a country in 1 year. GDP is used to measure the size and growth of an economy. If GDP is increasing, the economy is growing. If GDP is decreasing, the economy is shrinking. Higher GDP usually means more jobs, more income, more business activity, and higher standard of living. But GDP does not measure happiness, pollution, inequality, or quality of life. So GDP growth is important, but it is not everything. Now let's talk about inflation. Inflation means increase in general price level over time. When inflation happens, the purchasing power of money decreases. This means you can buy fewer goods with the same amount of money. For example, if a chocolate costs 10 rupees today and 20 rupees after some years, that is inflation. Some inflation is normal in a growing economy. But very high inflation is dangerous because people cannot afford basic things and savings lose value. Now let's talk about banks. Banks play a very important role in the economy. Banks accept deposits from people and give loans to businesses and individuals. Banks earn profit from the difference between interest they charge and interest they pay. Loans help businesses invest, expand, buy machines, build factories, and create jobs. So banks help in economic growth by circulating money in the economy. Now let's talk about the government. Government plays a major role in the economy. Government collects taxes from people and businesses. Government spends money on infrastructure like roads, railways, airports, education, healthcare, defense, and public services. Government also controls the economy using fiscal policy and monetary policy. Fiscal policy means government spending and taxation. Monetary policy means control of money supply and interest rates by the central bank. Now finally, let's understand the circular flow of economy. The economy works like a cycle. Businesses produce goods and services. People work in businesses and earn wages and salaries. People spend money on goods and services. Businesses earn revenue and produce more goods and services. This cycle continues, and the economy keeps running. If this cycle slows down, the economy slows down. If this cycle speeds up, the economy grows. So now you understand that economics is not just theory or a school subject. It is a system, a cycle that controls how money flows in the world, how businesses operate, how people earn and spend, how governments manage countries, and how economies grow. Once you understand economics, you don't just see money. You understand how the world really works.